Adventure is in my blood. Finding treasures big or small and having fun is what it's all about. With my wife Melissa and our 3 kids, life is pretty full. But there isn't a mountain we can't climb together. This isn't your ordinary antique store. My name is Alex Archbold and this is Curiosity Inc. Welcome back, everyone, and today, well, this is the episode that I know I've been waiting for. This is the episode where we find out if the city passes our zoning for the building right next to me, this amazing old heritage building. Now, some of you, in fact, many of you have said, Alex, I can't believe that you took your store, you are selling your old building, you're moving into this one, and you don't even know if you have this space yet. So yeah, there's a couple things I want to say. One is, even Noah probably looked crazy when he was building the ark. Sometimes you have to have a leap of faith. Mind you, what's the deal with the mosquitoes? You had to have 2 of those. I think sometimes you just have to have a little bit of faith in the process. Now, that said, it is a big risk, yes, but before purchasing this building, I reached out to the city councilor in this area. I reached out to the community and got overwhelmingly positive support, and they assured me they didn't foresee any challenges with the zoning. So based on that feedback and based on the fact I didn't want to lose the opportunity to buy this fantastic building, I decided to take what I felt was an educated risk and buy this property. Now, we'll see later on if that risk paid off. I know the building is amazing, and I figured, well, hey, even if the zoning doesn't go through, I've increased the value of this property. I've done some amazing renovations, and worst comes to worst, I can either continue to operate online, or we'll appeal the zoning and keep fighting for this space. But sometimes, folks, you have to fight for what you believe in. But for now, I have to finish getting the inside of the store cleaned up. At some point, yes, we do have our store name, which will go up top there. I haven't put it up yet because we are not zoned to be a business. I don't really want to advertise the store just yet because, well, I'm waiting until after today. But yeah, Dave does have a big sign for me, and he's coming back later this week to finish some of the graphics. But I'm gonna go in, get some of these boxes put away, and the goal is to get this whole front area and the whole store basically cleaned up and ready to go. Some of you might know this, but Melissa and I used to actually own a toy store many years ago. And owning and buying and selling toys is not new to either one of us, and I think that's part of why I wanted to include a little bit of that into this neighborhood. There's a lot of children that live in the area, and we wanted to have a fun place for them to come, and it's always a good idea if you're selling antiques and other stuff to have some stuff for the kids to do too. That way the whole family has some activities. So what I'm doing right now is trying to get this toy department set up. So the musical stuff is together, kind of novelties are together, and just really create a fun, exciting wall. I've got all this stuff to go through, but you know, I think it's going to look really cool once we're done. Now, although these aren't antiques, they are certainly retro, and they're the types of things that would have been sold all those years ago. One thing that drives me crazy about most antique stores is that they kind of just bring stuff in and drop it any old place. And the reason for that is that a lot of them are antique malls, and each individual little booth is operated by somebody different. So what you have is you have a whole bunch of things scattered around the store that don't make sense. So what I want to do with our store, since we don't do really consignment, is have things in departments: music, different types of toys, watches, all in the one case. Everything has to have its area so that it makes sense and is an easier shopping experience. Generally, this pile represents the last of the unsorted stuff in the store. which isn't a bad thing, because that means that I've got other areas that are just about ready for resale. I'm still waiting on my candy rack display to show up so I can get those bins on it. But I figure if I put it all together, instead of wandering around the store trying to figure out what goes where, I'm going to separate it into piles, toys in one, maybe pictures and books in the other. And then after I know what I've got, I've created homes all around the store for certain types of things. I'll be able to put the items where they go and hopefully get this mess all cleaned up within the next hour or so. But as I'm going through, I'm finding stuff I even forgot that I had. You know, going through some of these boxes, you know, I've got trains in the other room there, but there's the instructions for a Lionel Frontier set. Just going through my own stuff, I'm discovering things I forgot that I had. So yeah, I'm gonna start organizing and hopefully make a dent in this mess. Sorting through some of my stereograph cards and postcards, and I noticed this. If somebody sent me that in the mail, I think I might get a shiver up my spine. This is probably one of the least friendly looking pictures of older folks. Mind you, they look old in the picture, but probably they're like 28 years old. At the time, they just look old. I'm 28 years old. That's right, you're near the grave. What a thing to get as a postcard. Well, I'm sure there was a reason for it, but it goes in the postcard bin. And then the ones that are a little bit more interesting, like of the old trains, their advertisements, like this one, ask gently but firmly for Skipper sardines. They'll suit you to a T. I guess that would be like this: I really need Skipper sardines, thank you. Or, I need Skipper sardines. I don't know what gently but firmly would be. Or you grab the guy by his scruff, I need sardines. If you're in a fix for sardines, I guess, well, this guy looks like he's in a fix for sardines. I need my sardines. He looks pretty happy though. He asked gently but firmly and he got his sardines. I am bound and determined to get through this pile on the floor here behind me. And yes, it does look pretty nasty right now, but the rest of the store is actually not too bad. It's the outer shell of the store isn't that messy. I've got this big hot mess on the floor. I'm gonna probably be here all night working on it too, because I don't want to deal with this any longer. I want this done as of today. I have been working now for what seems like an eternity, but it's only been about an hour and a half. And I did manage to get the floor a little bit thinned out. There's still a lot more to go, but I'm feeling like there's progress. And when you have a giant pile of stuff to deal with, any progress is good news. My sister Heather would recognize this as being something I picked up when we were in Colorado Springs. Folk art ship, a little top heavy, but really, really neat. I got my super cool Pac-Man ghost lamp up and working and on display. Put lights in my lower cabinets and got the lights working up top here. And for the most part, got the majority of the hoard that was piled around the front entranceway all cleared. Why do I have a French ship's flag on this table? I'd like to give you a good reason, like I'm honoring Canada's roots as being a French colony with New France. That's not the case. I just happen to have a French flag and thought it looked cool. I am probably going to add a couple little extra things to the table, but really, oh, thank goodness, it's actually starting to clean up in here a little bit and I can walk around. Very soon, I'll be able to do a walkthrough and show you guys how the store is turning out. After what was a really long night of work, I was here until almost midnight. I have the interior of the store almost clean, which is a pretty big deal considering how bad it was the other day. I took a few extra things to auction this morning, and I'm left now with just basically one bin of stuff to sort. But the rest of the store is all, I'm just gonna show a little bit, I gotta close the drawers, but it's just about getting clean in here. And that is a big relief because when I get greenlit to open the store, I won't have that much work to do other than pricing and final adjustments. Josh has shown up. We're trying to figure out how to make this piano bar into a counter, basically. You were smart enough to keep the parts from like 3 years ago. He still had the keyboard from this exact piano from 3 years ago. It was, we got it for free, I think, right? You just had to pick it up?
I had to take it apart to bring it to my house and then put it back together. It was way too heavy.
And it went from being a piano, and it didn't play, it was broken, that's why it was free. Right. It went from being a piano to being a clothing rack, which you couldn't really see at my last store, to now it's gonna become a piano bar. And we're thinking we can use this as the counter, and we'll have to trim it back a bit. This is never gonna be a piano again, so if you're a piano player watching, don't be upset. Well, you can be upset, but this is happening anyway.
This is the best use that we're gonna get out of it.
It's upcycling, right?
Exactly.
So we'll trim it back a bit, I guess, so it's a nice depth. We'll use the stools that we had from the potter's house, which are under there. And then I'll get a custom piece of glass cut to go on top.
Yeah, we'll just get some pins or something to hold up the glass right above it. It'll look cool. It'll look like a showpiece.
So what I'm wondering, the piece that came down, the cover for the keyboard, kind of has a nice swoop. I wonder if we could incorporate that as sort of a backsplash, this piece right here.
Yeah.
Along the back.
Absolutely, that would actually look cool, and it might make a nice transition into the rest of the piano, because obviously the keyboard is going to be way too high for it to look normal, so maybe that would help it just transition nicely.
Well, then if you have something on the counter and you're worried about it rolling off, then that would prevent things from falling back behind the piano.
It'd be a pain
Yeah.
to clean up all this. There's so much.
It would be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and you're gonna come help me out with this next week, so we probably won't get into the full build of this week. We'll do that next week. But yeah, you are visiting the store. You've watched the shows, but you brought somebody with you too. He's hiding around the corner there. So tell him, what's your name?
My name is Ryan, and I met Josh at the Stony Plain dump of all places, and it turns out we live probably a mile apart.
And now here you are, you've been following the series a little bit too.
Following your channel. I first saw the ambulance on YouTube, and I thought, hey, I'm a car guy, and I was interested in that. And then I ended up watching the Potter series. My wife and I did, and yeah. So
you guys met at the dump. So were you dropping off or picking up?
I was dropping off.
I was when he came up to Dakota and I was picking up, and it was a good day. There was so much good stuff.
Yeah, there was.
Because they have a take it or leave it pile at the dump, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much every pile on my mind is a take it or leave it pile when it comes to the dump. And I'm not kidding about this. One of my favorite things to do when I go and visit my mother-in-law at the farm is go to the county dump, which is just a half mile down the road from her. There's always something cool, unusual, and somewhat dangerous at the dump. And now here you are, the dump has brought everybody together, and we're taking what was trash, this piano, and turning it into something usable. I'm gonna be looking forward to watching next week's episode because I think that's gonna look really cool. I've got it measured. It's gonna be 53 inches by 12 inches. The 12 inches is pretty standard, but if you go to a glass shop, which is what I'm gonna do, I guess I'll have to make sure it's pretty thick for a countertop. I'll ask for like Al Capone thickness, like what he would have used for his gangster car. That ought to be good enough for this, I think. And polished edges.
Yes.
I'll think of something nice to do. I've been busy getting some of the displays done around the shop, but I've almost forgot about one thing. What would a general store be without a Coca-Cola door push? So I am gonna get this guy put in place. Now this is a steel door, not wood. So what I'm gonna have to do is use self-tapping sheet metal screws, get this guy lined up, and then we'll have a nice little old-fashioned look. Now this curtain is gonna come down hopefully tomorrow. I'm gonna take all the curtains down. This is just keeping, you know, a little bit of the mystique about the store while I set up. But I think that'll look nice once it's all in place. So I'm gonna get that guy put on. And yeah, add one little extra element to the shop. I just got my Coke door push put on. It's nice and sturdy and in place with screws. And Jeremy, the electrician, popped by because he left his sweater here.
Hi everybody.
I thought Santa Claus was leaving worn out clothes for me now. Maybe I did something wrong.
It's almost vintage.
And what do you think of the store, how it's coming along?
I think it's amazing. I think you've done a really good job. I think yeah, I can't wait to it's open and come in here and browse. I know your big stack of records I'm going to be looking through right away here soon.
And welcome back to Sean. You've had a little bit of free time because we're not open for business.
Yeah,
Yeah, enjoying that time off?
I am. I put out an album yesterday. So
Nice.
it's been
He's
good.
being super productive with his time. But you're back here today helping me out, and I'll show you what the mission is. All right, I'm gonna grab this. So during our construction, we had lots of leftover bits of lumber, and it's been piling up behind the garage. Now we still are paying for use of a dumpster at the old store, so I thought it would be a good idea today to utilize the old ambulance, put a tarp down inside there, fill it up with the lumber, the garbage, and get that taken. So that is Sean's mission today, yard cleanup duty. The ambulance is missing, which means that Sean must have left while I was inside working. Let's see how he did. Oh yeah, the pile of debris is pretty well gone. Hopefully he's doing okay. left him to drive the ambulance. I'm sure that's an experience for him. It's 5:30. Sean has gone home. I've been working on clearing out the front entranceway, and I think today's the day I'm finally going to take these curtains down out front. There's been a lot of people very interested to peek in the windows. I've seen them kind of trying to jump and look over the curtains, so I wanted to make sure there was something for them to actually look at. I'm going to get these curtains down. The front of the store is basically all cleared out. This is going to be a sucker display right in the middle with the baskets all around it. The baskets are here. Again, that centerpiece got broken, but they're shipping me a replacement. I can't do much about this right now, but that is where that's going to go. But everything else is pretty well somewhat organized. Have our little toy department ready to go, and then we get into the proper antiques basically through the rest of the store. This first little bit is more like the touristy shopping area on the sides, and then antiques off to the left. Waiting on a few more orders to come in to fill that up, but I think yeah, start taking these guys down. Wow, that is so much brighter now with those curtains out of the way. This is a pretty sunshiny little store, and I love the fact that when I look out the front window, not only do I see my awesome Cadillac, but I also see a beautiful little park right out front. What are you doing this morning, Steven?
I'm scraping old paint off the side.
And then what are you gonna do?
Then I'm gonna paint it.
That's right. I thought before winter hit, it'd be a perfect opportunity to get this white wall painted and to pay Steven to do it. It's a good chance for him to learn a good work ethic and also earn a few extra bucks.
Yep, I just, this spot was a bit darker, so I'm gonna put a bit more paint down.
Yeah, the places where the wood had been worn away a little bit better are absorbing it, but that's much cleaner looking than it was before. And we decided to leave the back half white. This building was originally white. I don't know if we're gonna leave the blue, so we thought, well, the original color for this building was white. We're gonna leave it white on the back. That way it kind of shows where the house was. And plus Hans did all the siding on white on that side, so it has to match. You want to go get something to eat? Okay. And Mom, you haven't really seen the store when it's more set up.
No, I'm just looking at everything.
What did you find, Abigail? Why don't you show me? I'll follow you. Abigail already is enthralled with the kids department we're setting up. Oh, but you did. That could be trouble.
They have like rainbow colors.
Yeah, these were special pencils that we found from one of our suppliers. They write all sorts of colors. I'm guessing you want one of those? I'm sure we could make that happen. This is it, the big day. I am going over to City Hall in about 5 minutes time with my lovely family who is waiting for me. Melissa just walked in, probably wondering why I wasn't outside yet. Today is it. We're gonna find out in about an hour's time exactly what our fate is with the store. We've gone to great efforts to make sure the store is ready and talk to City Hall, but yeah, together we'll go face this challenge and see what holds for us. I made sure to wear my bow tie today to look all snappy.
The elevator.
That's right. Going up. Council chamber. We'll go to the ground floor first. We'll talk to the guy at the desk. We go in about 15 minutes. We are number 3536 to amend the development plan and allow for convenience commercial use Westmount. That's us. Okay, this is how it works. They gather all the council members together at the table in front of me. They call to action each individual item. When ours comes up, I'll have a chance to speak, and then we find out the decision. So it's really just a waiting game right now. It might be another half hour, 45 minutes or so, but we are here, and hopefully we'll have news soon. Okay, great, thanks.
Welcome. The floor is yours. Yeah, pull that microphone up.
All right.
There you go.
Well, I guess, boy, that's loud, louder than I expected. I just wanted to really say thank you all, and for those of the members of the West Mountain community for coming down to show their support for what is an interesting project that my wife and I have taken on. If you are unaware of our business, my wife and I started an antique store here in Edmonton 3 years ago. Really because it was a dream that I had since I was a kid. Some kids have other dreams. I dreamt of going out and buying antiques, and I wanted a top hat that popped out when I did that, like a magician, and you know, sometimes those end up becoming a reality. And I think this store, which the previous owner is here, Brenda's here, this store has served the West Mountain community for 106 years, as it started construction in 1913, and we're looking at having our business in this location to carry on the stewardship of this location and its service to its community. To tell you briefly about what we do, I guess to say the least, we have an antique store, but I work hard to find interesting items and bring them back. I work with museums. The Reynolds Museum, I gave a speech across the street a couple months ago, because sometimes you find really exceptional things. And our goal with the products we carry and the store we represent is to try and provide something exceptional to the city of Edmonton. And with our YouTube channel, which is another aspect of what we do, we've inadvertently becoming a bit of a tourist attraction for the city, where we have people showing up from all over the world, and we wanted to provide a much more interesting location for those folks. And I don't know if anybody's here from the tourist department at Edmonton, but they've been asking me, when can you open? And I said, I don't have that date yet, but we'd love to make that happen. I think that, I'll wrap this up, but we all have an opportunity to strive and do something different with our lives. And no matter what the outcome, we're glad that we're taking these steps in this direction to try and be something a little bit different and try to be something a little bit special for our city, and trying to set an example for my kids who are here with me supporting Dad today too. So thank you very much for your time, and if you have any questions, I'll be certain to answer them.
Are there questions for Mr. Archibald? Councillor McKean, you selected this, so go ahead.
Sir, did you tie that bow tie?
You know, it came pre-tied, but it is not a clip-on, I'll tell you that much.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I had heard nothing but I was getting nothing but warm breezes from Westmount on this proposal, so I have no questions. It sounds really neat, and congratulations to you for following your dreams.
Well, thank you so much, sir.
Councillor Henderson?
Yeah, I was just curious, have you looked into historically designating the building?
Yes, I have. I've set up, I think it's 2 meetings now that I've met with Veda, and we're basically just waiting. It wouldn't make sense to have it designated a historic site if it is currently zoned apartment, as it's not an apartment building. So in part I've been sort of waiting, being prudent.
Okay, so you're going to move forward on that? Because I was puzzled that you hadn't, and I wondered if it had been changed too much, but it sounds
no,
because it's not on the list, I don't know why, but...
Yeah, no, I do want to go for it, yeah. We're talking about, you know, if we get the paperwork in now, we can get the old-fashioned storefront put back on next spring possibly, so I've got plans for it. The goal, if anybody's interested in watching the series that we're doing on it, we're renovating it back to being as close to something from that time period as possible. Including the decor, the signage, trying to be as accurate as we can with it. So it's going to be like having a piece of Fort Edmonton Park plucked out and put in Westmount for people to actually shop at.
I'm guessing if we can, I don't know, but if we can do designation, I'm guessing we can help with that. So
yeah, I will be happy to come back with that at a future time.
Good, thanks.
Councillor Nack, you can take the chair.
I've got the chair.
I have only one question. Do you have a supplier for the top hats that pop out?
Yeah.
No mayor should be without one.
So we'll have to find you one.
Okay, well if you do, you know where to find me. Anyway, I'll take the chair then.
I'll return the chair.
Thank you. Is there any new information? Or let me double check. Are there questions for administration? No, think so. We're all done with you, Mr. Archibald.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any new information?
Okay, council has ended, and guess what? We did it! We have our zoning in place, right, Jason?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so that means we can open our store, everything will be hunky-dory, and we're going to be getting everything all taken care of. This coming week is all going to be preparation, and I think a lot of fun. So, and you, Jason, got to learn something, got to come to City Council. Well, we did it, and I couldn't be happier. The building is saved from a fate of redevelopment as an apartment block. Our business is saved. There was so much potentially on the line here. But City Council, they passed us, and I'm so pleased that it's done, and it's such a big stress that's gone now, but the work is not done. I still have to get my business license moved over to this location. I have to wait an 18 to 20 day waiting period before the zoning officially gets put in the system. So that'll give me just enough time to get floors all swept and cleaned and mopped, get my business license in place, get the development permit, everything I need to get done. That will give me just enough time to do it, but I can start to think about a grand opening date. So thank you very much for watching today's episode, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. You can like us on Facebook under Curiosity Incorporated, or you can check us out on Instagram at Curiosity Inc. YEG. Boy, what a big day, but what a big relief. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.